Hi guys, how you doing? Firstly, Merry Christmas to you all. I'm sure you all had a great day watching Newcastle beat Aston Villa 3-0 here at St James's Park today in what was an amazing atmosphere, I have to say, at St James's Park. Now, you can probably hear the noise behind me. I have invested in some new microphones and selfie stick, but I'm not using it yet because I'm in a rush to get to the pub after this. So I thought I'd come round here to the Gallowgate corner, give you guys a pretty amazing view of the stadium. I'm sure a few of you actually sit here anyway, but as you can probably hear, these guys behind me, pretty noisy. So hopefully I can be loud enough that you can hear my take on this afternoon's match. Firstly, brilliant performance from Newcastle from the off. Obviously Anthony Gordon scoring within 2 minutes and then going right until the end, and Joe Linton pretty much scoring with the last kick of the ball. I really fancied a Newcastle win today, I have to say. Anyone who was willing to listen, I was comfortable. I thought Newcastle would win given recent performances, recent results, with the match being at home as well. I think Villa as well. Maybe a little bit of tiredness creeping in given their Champions League excerpts. We saw that with Newcastle 2 years ago, and I just felt it had the ingredients of a Newcastle win today. I think they owed the fans one after last Boxing Day, that horrendous performance against Nottingham Forest, and obviously it sent you guys home happy. I mean, so many good things to talk about. But before we get into individual performances and whatnot, just the picture. I came in after the game, I watched the match up in the barracks today with a couple of friends, and to see Newcastle at the end of that, winning 3-0 comfortably, okay, yes, up against 10 men for the majority of the game, we'll get onto that soon, but to come and look at the league table, other results have gone in Newcastle's favour, and to be up there in 5th position, not too many points off Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, who you would expect Forest to probably fall away at some stage. I think is an amazing turnaround given where Newcastle were a couple of weeks ago. It just shows you what 3 wins can do. Just spoke to Eddie Howe in his press conference afterwards, and he said it's a constant reminder to him that, look, even in the dark times, you can win a few games, you can get the momentum back in your favour, and things can change very, very quickly. And I think that is the fickle nature of football. And I think for all those fans who were saying Eddie out a few weeks ago, you really need to have a look at yourselves, because I feel that, you know, he is of course the man to take Newcastle forward. Has he taken a bit too long to put Tonali in that number 6 role? In my opinion, probably yes. He probably should have done it a little bit quicker, but then I don't know the ins and outs of how Tonali is training and how the team are looking behind the scenes. But I think Eddie and the team are they're showing the fruits of that now. I mean, I think Tonali in that 6 role, allowing Bruno Guimaraes to get further forward, and Joe Linton and Joe Willock and Longstaff, whoever's playing there, I really think it's changed the complete dynamic of the team. And I just think it's making Newcastle look like the team that we thought they would be at the start of the season. It's just taken a little bit longer to sort of get themselves going. But yeah, he's phenomenal in there. Bossed the game again today, much like he did against Aston Villa at the start of last season in that first game when of course they won 5-1. And I just think he makes the team tick in there, and we see Bruno getting forward. I mean, he had that goal Bruno Guimaraes ruled out for, I think it was handball towards the end. What was he doing up there in the goal line trying to score? I'll tell you what he was doing up there in the goal line trying to score. He was trying to do that, and that's because he's now got that freedom to go and play, and that is the freedom that Sandro Tonali gives him there that Bruno Guimaraes did not have last season or earlier this season. And you know, I think now, and I said this against Liverpool a few weeks ago, I think now when you look at Bruno, Tonali and Joe Linton, or Willock, whichever of the two play, I think out with Chelsea and Arsenal, I think Newcastle have probably got the best midfield in the Premier League. It's certainly a better midfield than Liverpool, in my opinion. Definitely a better midfield than Spurs. Definitely playing better than Manchester City, and they've got more dynamism. Of course, with them without Rodri. Obviously, if Rodri was in there, it'd be slightly different. But I think you've got one of the best midfield 3 in the Premier League, and I think Newcastle, you know, are up there in 5th. The momentum's behind them, and momentum is such a big thing in football now. And you know, you look at the next 2 matches, Man United away on Monday, Spurs away in the 4th, and then of course Arsenal away in the Cup. And on paper they're very difficult games, but what a time to play these teams. Newcastle flying, Gordon flying, Isak scoring for fun, Murphy just finding this form out of nowhere. As I've mentioned, Tonali controlling the game, Bruno getting forward, Joe Linton getting in amongst the goals today. you're in as good a position as you can be to go there and get results against Man United and Spurs and potentially Arsenal. Even if you go there, scrap out a 1-0 defeat or a 2-1 defeat and bring it back here, I just got a feeling Newcastle might do enough to get to the final. I don't think it's the worst draw they could have had. But anyway, I'm getting carried away here in terms of that. I just feel that Newcastle are hitting their straps. Things are clicking at a very, very important time of the season, and it augurs well moving forward. I could sense a real confidence from Eddie Howe that things are changing for the good, and that Newcastle are in a very, very good place going into the new year. One thing I want to say on today's game, the red card, did it change the game? It didn't change it. It changed it in that it probably made it harder for Newcastle up against 10 men. I've watched it a number of times now. I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion here, but I felt John Duran was very unlucky to get sent off. I think if you've played football, you know in that position you don't really know where to put your feet, and I can see why some people think it was, but I thought he was unlucky. I thought Villa were unlucky. Unai Emery's just said in his press comments afterwards he'll appeal it. He went on a big rant saying that it was completely unjust, and I have to say Eddie Howe agreed with him as well. He said he felt it was harsh. A number of the other journalists in there felt it was a penalty, so you can see why people have got different views on it. But yeah, in my opinion, I thought it was harsh, but it didn't make it any more difficult. Well, it made it probably more difficult. It didn't make it any easier for Newcastle, because you're up against a Villa team down to 10, fighting for every scrap, and sitting in 2 banks of 4 and harder to break down. I thought it was crucial they Newcastle got an early goal in the second half. Of course, you got that through Alexander Isak, who, as I've said, is on fire right now, and then the game just took control from there. It could have been 3-4, 5-0 in the end, and should have been. Murphy hit the crossbar, Bruno's ruled out, Isak had one ruled out. Yeah, it could have been anything. So comfortable day at the office, and it's really quite nice at this stage of the season to be sitting here and saying, look, hang on, things are clicking at a good time. Things are clicking now going into the new year. We've got 2 big league games around the corner, massive cup semi-final, potentially a cup final should you get there, and it just feels a really good time for things to be clicking. I thought Murphy was good again today. Amazing that 3 years since the takeover he's still here and putting in performances like that, and you have to give him credit, because I thought he did really well again today. His use of the ball was good. A little bit of showboating, setting up the one for Isak that got ruled out. He probably should have gone himself, but again, really good assist from him. And he's come to the party at a really, really crucial time of the season, and I think a player that Eddie Howe really rates and really feels an integral part of the squad. So fair play to him. Thought the defence was solid. As I say, Tonali for me, I know he won't get the headlines today. It will be more Isak and Gordon. By the way, that goal from Gordon right down here, just behind me, as soon as he opened up to shoot, the guy who was sat next to him, I went, goal. Literally 2 seconds before the ball hit the net, you could just tell it was going to go right into that top corner. And I was actually watching something, I think it was on the Newcastle Instagram page over Christmas, and it was, or maybe it was the Sky Sports, I can't remember, but it was Anthony goals from this season where he cuts in from the left and hits it into the corner, and it was like 5 or 6 of them, and you're like, wow, he does that a lot, doesn't he? Really, I know Harvey Barnes gets the credit for it, but Gordon does it a lot. And then inside 2 minutes he was at it again here, and what a goal it was. Joe Linton taking a leaf out of his book by doing exactly the same in the dying embers of the game. And I think good for Joe Linton to get amongst the goals as well. Isak's typical poacher's effort. The thing I like about Isak really is he'll score from 30 yards, 25 yards, he'll dink the goalkeeper, he'll tap it in, he'll header. He's got every goal in his locker, and I think Eddie Howe said to Amazon after the game he would swap him for anyone in world football. And on his day, when he's fit, you have to say he is one of the best strikers in Europe, arguably right now the best striker in the Premier League, with obviously Erling Haaland kind of struggling for form and probably can't do as many things as what Alexander Isak can do. So look, really good day at the office for Newcastle. They won't want to get carried away, but I think just looking on that league table afterwards, up to 5th, and with a real chance now of qualifying for Europe and putting a challenge in for the top 4. And it's really nice to see the squad right now. When you've got someone like Tino Livramento injured like he was today, Kieran Trippier comes in. It feels at the moment that the numbers are back, the squad's strong without being too big. and it feels like they're in a really good place. This time last year, of course, you were trying to scrape a team together, and now you've got all sorts of options in different areas of the park, and I think it all goes well moving forward. So all good today. Very quick turnaround to Manchester United on Monday night, but look, I mean, if there's anywhere you want to go right now, play your football and try and win, it's Old Trafford. Go there, open up, take the game to Man United. I'm not sure they'll be able to deal with Newcastle's attacking players right now, the way they're playing. So great to see. Hope you guys had a good Christmas, and yeah, for all you travelling to Old Trafford on Monday, enjoy that. I'm very confident Newcastle will get a decent win from that. I think Newcastle will win. And I think moving forward into next year, things are certainly looking a lot better. We all thought at some stage Newcastle would click. When would it happen? It was like 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Well, now Newcastle bouncing into the new year with the team that we all expected. I think Tonali in that number 6 has made a huge difference. I think he's been the catalyst for everything, and the players are all benefiting as a result of that. So anyway, guys, leave your comments below. Nice to see you all. If I don't see you before, Happy New Year. Leave your comments, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers now, goodbye.